Hey everybody, I hope you all had a great week. This week here in Washington, the Army Corps of Engineers testified before my subcommittee on the Transportation and Infrastructure full committee, which gave me a chance to put them on record about water management decisions that have led to the discharges that are destroying our community. This was on a hearing that was very specifically related to hurricane preparedness, which is obviously one of the big reasons that these discharges occur entirely is in the name of hurricane preparedness under the guise of the Corps of Engineers. Now, we are owed answers, but more than that, we need change. We need change from the Corps of Engineers. The decisions that are being made prioritize everyone else over human health and safety on the Treasure Coast. It's destroying our community, and it can't be tolerated. I've been saying this for a long time. Now, I will not allow important questions to go unanswered. I don't tolerate it. It's why in advance of this hearing that I had, I submitted my questions to the Corps of Engineers before this hearing occurred so that they wouldn't have excuse to not answer these questions. But we need the answers. Why and for whom excess water is stored on Lake Okeechobee during the dry season and then ends up being discharged into the east and west coast during the wet season. Obviously, there is mismanagement going on here, and I will keep asking until I get a straightforward and honest answer to these questions, like at what point, if any, is water flowing from Lake Okeechobee too polluted, too dirty, too toxic to send into the St. Lucie River, the epicenter of our population? I asked them very directly if poisons like arsenic and cyanide would cause them to stop discharges, and I'm still waiting for that direct answer from this. I asked them in writing before this hearing. I asked them during this hearing. Didn't get the answers from them. This information, it's critical for a review process called the Lake Okeechobee Regulation Schedule, or the LORS schedule. Now, right now, decisions about when to discharge water from Lake Okeechobee into our community, those decisions are being based upon information from 2008. I passed a bill earlier this summer requiring the Army Corps of Engineers to update that schedule, that LORS schedule, with current information, and getting answers to questions like these is important so that we can make the strongest case possible that discharges to our community need to be brought to an end. Now, this week we also passed a bill called the Innovative Stormwater Infrastructure Act, which established a task force to better address the impact of stormwater on waterways and communities, stronger investment in prevention of stormwater runoff. It's going to allow for the implementation of new solutions towards healthier water. Every single bit, every little bit that we can do on this issue, it's helped. Any way that I can find to get one less drop of water, of storm water, of Lake Okeechobee water going into our coastal estuaries, I try to find it, and I work to get that water out of there. Now, we also passed several bills to strengthen our foreign policy by enhancing tools of diplomacy. That was a big bit of the work that we did this week. For example, we passed the Elie Wiesel Genocide and Atrocities Prevention Act. It makes America's official policy towards regarding prevention of genocide and other atrocities as a core national security interest and moral responsibility. Now, after 12 years in the Army, I know exactly what can happen when we retreat from global leadership roles. That's why, as the greatest force for freedom in the world, we have to have a strong stance that we will not tolerate affronts to human dignity or global security. We also passed the BUILD Act this week. That reforms and modernizes our development programs and agencies into full-service, self-sustaining body to more efficiently distribute foreign aid around the globe, spark economic growth in developing countries, and improve America's global competitiveness. And lastly, we passed the Women's Entrepreneurship and Economic Empowerment Act, which will empower women across the world, especially in countries where their basic rights are denied, to address those boundaries and lift their communities out of poverty. Now, together, these bills aim to strengthen American diplomacy and to help make the world a safer and a more peaceful place to live, and the goal that we can all get behind, in my opinion. A couple more quick notes before I wrap up what's gone on this week in Washington. This week we released the third episode of our Tortured Coast series, documenting the human toll, the environmental toll of this algae crisis, this crisis of water coming out of Lake Okeechobee into our Treasure Coast year after year. Now, the episode features Chris Hope, owner of Outboards Only. It's a boat and marina repair shop down in Jensen Beach that's been absolutely devastated by our algae crisis. I got to see firsthand how they were devastated back in 2016. A lot of conversation in 2017, and now seeing what's going on in 2018 with them. It also focuses on the EAA Southern Storage Reservoir that we've been working so hard on, which will reduce the Army Corps of Engineer discharges and send water south, and which we are working to get authorized through both chambers of Congress. We got this through the House of Representatives. I wrote that piece of legislation to get it through the House earlier this summer as part of the Water Resources and Development Act, and now we're working on getting that through the Senate. So to watch and sign up to get new episodes, you can visit www.mass.house.gov/tortured coast if you want to see that next episode. Next, the Army Corps also announced that they will be holding another public meeting in Stuart to talk about water management in Lake Okeechobee. That will be held on August 1st at the Indian River State College, 2400 Southeast Salerno Road in Stuart. It's going to be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I definitely encourage everyone to go, share their thoughts on discharges and what can be done to help our community. Now finally, as many of you know, we opened a first of its kind office in the West Palm Beach VA Medical Center, the VA hospital, to help veterans, to hear veterans on their turf, to be there to witness day in, day out what's going well and what's going poorly at the VA hospital. And I want to give veterans who are using this office advance warning that this office will be temporarily closed from Labor Day until mid-November. Now, as many of you may remember, getting the VA and the House of Representatives to agree to allowing myself to have this office which I made available to both Republicans and Democrats. There are 4 members of Congress that now hold office hours in our VA hospital as a result of this. It took over a year of red tape to work through. And one of the provisions in the contract that we had to agree to get that office open was that the office would be closed during election years in the months leading up to the election. So as a result of those provisions that the VA wanted to have put in that contract, they didn't want us into the VA during this election time. This is the reason that we have to close the office for those months, so we'll be back there after the November election. Now, this is one of the reasons why my bill, the Improving Veterans Access to Congressional Services Act, is so important. That bill not only helps other members of Congress open offices in their local VA hospitals in the same way that I opened that office up in our local VA hospital, but it can help clear out unnecessary barriers and red tape like this one that I'm just speaking of, so that veterans can get the help that they need in those VA offices year-round. Now, in the meantime, our North Palm Beach office will be eager to help veterans with any issues that they are having, and our staff that has been working to help our veterans at the West Palm Beach VA will be available full-time at that North Palm Beach office. Any time of the year, any time of the week, you can catch our staff in the North Palm Beach office, the Stuart office, or the Port St. Lucie office. Whether you're a veteran or a constituent, from any other background, you can reach us at any of those offices. We exist there to help you. So if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to give us a call, 561-530-7778. As always, it's an honor to represent you here in Congress. I hope that you all have a great week. I hope that you all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you all around town, talking about everything that's going on, hearing from you. It's my favorite part of this, and I wish you all the best. Take care.